Before we go to a last round of questions that I have to do that I didn't prepare you for, which is the best advice that you have for people here in the audience, I will start. But still, any other questions that you want to know? Yes. So I will start with him because you asked. Yes?
Yeah. Me again. Yeah, about marketing automation. So in B2B market, a lot of times when you're selling to the end user, many times the end user isn't the person who actually purchasing and buying. So when you're using a marketing automation, Marketo or HubSpot or Acton, Pravda, usually you're tracking the person who actually came into your website and downloaded a trial or looked at your product. Then you're tracking this person. But in the end, this is not the person who actually come and buy. That's the person who come and close the funnel. So when you're looking at your leads and you're looking at your campaigns and you're looking for specific, let's say for example, Google PPC campaign, and so you get many leads, many downloads, but your ROI has worked. Is about zero not because you didn't sell the campaign, but because those people who came from this campaign and downloaded the product are not the person who actually came and bought. So the funnel doesn't close. I found a solution for that, but it's a manual work. And I want to ask you if you have developed or do you know in a way that you can automatically close the funnel in the solution.
I'll just repeat the question for the audience, for the video. So we're talking about complex sale. We're trying to sell. We're touching multiple people in the organization. One person responded to the campaign, but another person was the actual one that closed it. But I think, at least from what we've seen, you can probably do it within Salesforce and get the reports from there. And I think then you get to go to Marie and pay her more money than you paid till now.
And they started with Power as a standalone, and now and then they come into Salesforce. So there is a bit of a gap in the Salesforce activity.
Okay. Okay, so in general, what we recommend, we represent Acton, and we also work with some of our clients also work with Pardot. So what we recommend usually to do is to do this kind of stuff within Salesforce and not through marketing automation, because you can manage accounts and opportunities in a better way for Salesforce. There are other challenges with Salesforce, which is like Salesforce, but in general, you can do that specific things like tracking funnel and stuff like that. That's something that Salesforce has better tools to do it than most of the marketing automation tools out there. It's from our experience.
Same answer.
Not the same answer. No, something else that I want to add. At the end of the day, your question when you do the ROI is you want to know if someone would tell you, listen, this specific account with lots of leads that you have in it, you want to repeat it, okay? And the question is, how do you repeat it? So I think that in many cases, that first contact, even though he wasn't the decision maker, it might make sense to try and bring in more people like him, and he again will pull in the relevant decision maker into the account. The way we did it and the way we built it with ServiceWise is that, and again, you can do a lot of complex attribution models. You can say the first contact has this amount of weight to the ROI. The last one has another significant amount, and those in the middle have something in the middle. And we wanted to do something to keep it simple. And what we did is we said that for at least 80% of the cases, the first contact is the most important one. So it doesn't matter if we have 20 contact within the account. The source of the first contact is also what we consider the source of the account, and that's how we do the attribution and the calculation of the ROI. Again, it's just to keep things simple, and it's good enough for 80% of the cases.
There is also a blog post that we wrote specifically about that in our blog, about multi-touch point versus first touch point and last touch point attribution of revenues. What we're also doing internally, we're using campaigns in Salesforce as a tool to identify multi-touch points. We're using Octopus for social distribution. So whenever the first touch point comes from them, we put the lead source as social, which is pretty, I can't say bad words, but it's really awesome. And we have that, and then all the other activities that we do, we have, of course, it's because it's fully synced with between Acton, which is our marketing automation tool, and Salesforce. Everything works flawlessly. Okay. Okay, so some of the people here like football. I don't know, soccer or something like that. Just okay. But one last question because you didn't ask. Yes. What do you think about B2B marketing? Is it worthwhile as a career? Thank you. Jessica Tzimmet from Amdocs, social media and Amdocs.
You mentioned that you guys have support for developers to do marketing or to do marketing automation. I wanted to ask the audience, just for show of hands, who has developer support again?
Depends for what? What do you mean?
Jessica asks, just to get a clear understanding, Jessica asks, because she works in Amdocs, they don't have a lot of developers. It's a very small company. And so she wanted to know how many of you have, let's say, concrete support from developers for specific, let's put it this way, how many of you are able to allocate developer time for things that are concretely and specifically related to marketing? And let's start just one thing. Let's start from companies that do not sell products to developers, because I think there is a major difference between the two. So how many of you actually have development resources for marketing? No outsource, in-house, right? In-house, we're talking about in-house. Okay, only 3.
I'm the
4.
developer, so
Yeah, okay, but let's say, so most of you do not have developer resources on tap. And by the way, when I'm talking about development, I'm not talking about someone to set up a landing page, or we're talking about hardcore development, like the example that Ramel said, I have a monitoring system that identifies whether a website is down. Most of our clients, some of our clients are coming from the high-end enterprise sales or telecom. Most of them do not have developer support, most of them. And if they will have developer support, it won't help them because their guys know how to work on CRM databases, but they do not know how to do all the cool tricks that you need for marketing. So you just need the budget in order to work with external resources that can do that for you, to do more sophisticated things. Okay? Okay, so last question for the panelists. You have one and only one tip to give the audience here. One tip that can be executed with one budget line that they need to implement tomorrow. Okay, in your opinion, that's like the golden rule. The thing of, if I knew that 5 years ago, I would do a way better service to my company than what I've done in this period. Okay, what will be your one tip?
I guess I'll call it BYOL, build your own lists. Going back to what I said at the beginning, pinpoint exactly who would be your golden prospect and find whatever it takes to build that specific list, and then start using external services like Odesk, or by the way, there are specific companies who specialize in this. Like there's a company called, I think, Next Sales. They're a bit more expensive, but they can find then the contacts within those companies and then hit them with an interesting and highly relevant content.
Okay, so what works very well for us is there is a tool called BuzzSumo. Kfir actually introduced me to this solution, and basically what it allows you to do is to find relevant discussions based on keywords. So if you're selling, the test automation solutions, you can look for discussions around test automation, around Selenium, around the different tools, and on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, you can look at the hottest discussions with the most shares on each of the social channels. And this is a very useful solution. We have like a student working for us who on a twice a week identifies all the relevant discussions, and he brings us like a list of the discussions, and we're using our customers to respond on some of these questions or the discussion topics, and also sometimes our developers. And this generates a very high quality traffic to the website, and we're seeing that people that are coming from these specific discussions are very mature leads, because this is like a very specific customer looking at a discussion about a new method in automated testing, and then all of a sudden a customer is saying, hey, I'm using this tool and it does an awesome job, and you have to try it out. So people coming from this discussion, this is like a great source. BuzzSumo, BuzzSumo.
And what's the name of the student?
We will send the links to all the tools that we've mentioned today in the email after the event. Okay?
Well, my tip is that We actually went to a lot of companies that do sales and marketing automation to listen what they have to say. And what I found is that everyone thinks they have a winning formula, because they do, but it's for their own product. So, and what eventually was right for us is not what was right for them. So I would say don't listen to like specific things, like call in the first 5 minutes or whatever and say like you have to do whatever someone else tells you works for them. You need to do things fast and find what works for you, because it's different for every product, I think.
I have to admit that I'm going to abuse my power and give 2 tips. So the first tip, and well, 1.5 because I said already the first one, but it's important for everyone to remember, is to remember that everybody are human. We're talking about one-to-one communication at the end of the day. We are not sending an email to a list. There are specific people there that are used to be treated as people in a list. If you find a way to hack that experience, and I can tell that we're investing so much time in thinking what will be the subject line of the email, what will be the first line, to make sure that if we said we haven't talked for a while, it won't be for someone that we just talked with yesterday, because it will look stupid. And I hate to look stupid, okay? So we have to be very, very, just to doing this very, very human approach to marketing works amazingly well. That's point number 1. Point number 2, and that's one of the things we see that a lot of our clients are having a challenge with it, is to optimize each and every touch point. It's like, it's like being religious on that aspect. Meaning, you have a blog, you need to have a way to capture leads from the blog. It's critical. The guys from Bright Info solve it. Other companies solve it. You have to figure out the customer journey, the buyer's journey in each and every touch point. They go to your Facebook page. What do they see there? They go, maybe they are strange. They're using Google+. They're one of the 2 that are using it. They're not working for Google. You have to do that as well. You have to think about all those different touch points. It's extremely challenging. I can tell that when we're doing our own marketing, we're not necessarily doing the best job in the world while doing that, okay? But this mindset takes all the hidden potential in your current marketing organization, in your current inbound traffic, in your current email database, and makes it flourish. And it has an amazing effect. I would like to thank you all. It was awesome. The bar is open, meaning that you don't have to leave, okay, after we finish. Feel free to network, meet each other. We're going to send an email after the event, a couple of days later, with all the links from specific products that were mentioned and specific tips. And hopefully, as we say in Hebrew, bli neder, in a couple of weeks we'll have the video, the unedited video at least, online, so you will be able to view it, and then we'll try to make shorter and more easy to consume ones as well. Thank you very much for coming, guys.